Martin, Nico con la shoot, the recovery, once again the cross, they could shoot, and it's in!
That bottom that guy Fran, he gets inside and gets a shot past the goalkeeper. Wonderful work from Fran.
For the right side, the shot and the goal!
And a beautiful evening to all of you from Bishop Lynn High School in Dallas, as both these teams, Foro as well as Balboa Football Club, looking to get a foothold on the top spot in the Texas North Division. Welcome, everyone. A great Saturday evening to all of you, and you're going to have some great football today as there's these two sides facing off in what promises to be an interesting encounter with two explosive sides facing off. As you see right now, the winner of tonight's match provisionally goes top of the table in this division. Of course, we'll still have to wait and see what happens with FC Dallas Dynamo and what ends up happening with especially Sporting and TX with their match in hand after all is said and done. Dallas Dynamo find themselves sandwiched in between. They've already played their match. They find themselves currently with 18 points as well. Balboa, they know they're in fourth, but it is so tight and so log-jammed in this division that there's still lots to be talking about. There's still lots of matches yet to be played, lots of points up for grabs, and that will be one of those major themes that will be looked at throughout. Coach Alejandro Rodilla understands the obligation of winning matches at home. He too knows that whatever they end up acquiring and what they end up positioning themselves, jockeying themselves in the best position available, that will help out in regards to what they are looking for and their objective, which is to come out top of the division. Wait for the referees, the indications, all the pre-match protocol that needs to be, all the house cleaning tips that need to be made. Just a moment away. We shall see how things end up playing for this side. Of course, for Foro, looking at Eddie Gomez, their top scorer. He'll be the one that ends up being that spark plug up top. But also looking at those two in the middle with Nick Kupetsky, Blaine Ferry, as well as Luis Lara and Luis Hernandez being those engines up top. That'll be something to contend for Balboa side that know what they have is, well, also of note. Evan Rosales up top, and of course, we'll give the lineups in just a second. Right before the beginning of this match, as both captains talking to the referee. Refereeing crew, I should say. On one end, you end up seeing Felipe Medina for Balboa. Balboa in the dark uniform. He can distinguish both sides. The other end, it was Nate Kupetsky talking to the referee. We'll end up finding out in just a moment who will end up taking the first touch of the ball here in Dallas. As you see the line, of course, with Alejandro Rodilla. Alejandro Rojas in goal, Ryan Jones, Ethan Sampson, and Omar Thompson. Eric Ramirez will be part of that back line. Luis Hernandez and Luis Lara out wide, with Nate Kupetsky and Blaine Ferry playing in the middle. Cal Bennett and Eddie Gomez will be on the attack. We'll see a lot of movement, a lot of different looks, players coming in different spaces. And You'll see a lot emerging as the match plays on for this Foro side. So there will be lots to be looking at. There will be lots to delve into and start to anticipate what ends up happening with the starting 11 for this side. You do have some dynamic players that can move around just a little bit based on their position. Meanwhile, on the other end, Juan Reyes with his starting 11, Soren Russell in goal, Berg, Lupo, Evan Segura, and Avery Estelle. A 2-3-3 for Balboa, with Antonio Garcia, Los Sensores anchoring in the middle, and Diego Cruz over on the left. Evan Ustiovsky with Felipe Medina and Evan Rosales up top. Gavin Rosales up top. As we're just moments away from kickoff. So we shall find out who ends up getting the 3 points, who ends up, well, how the points end up being shared would probably be the best way to express that. As again, a very muggy, a very typical beginning of June in Texas type of weather. As the match protocol shall begin in just a moment, all starting with the national anthem and everything else that comes after that. So finalizing the pre-match protocol, finishing pretty much as we get ready for the beginning of this encounter here at Bishop Lynchfield. As we await again, like I said, a matchup where you would expect some good pace down the wings. It's mostly where these two teams end up manufacturing a lot of their plays. I mean, nothing that I'm saying is overly dramatic or even revolutionary. It's just the way the systems are for these two sides. We shall see how things play out. The first few minutes will be kind of a telltale sign of where we're going to be going. As it'll be Balboa with the ball first to begin the proceedings.
¿Qué onda, jefe? Bien, ¿y ustedes? Sí. No.
As we get ready, waiting for the referee to give indications. And we're underway here. Another round deep ball it's sent in. Just knocked away deep by Soren Russell, trying to divide it. Trying to win it was Ansures in the middle, but not being able to work out that much. Now it's trying to find a counterattack. Dropping back and controlling. And of course, you see right there, 3 against 4 that ends up being a throw in quickly, trying to play it into the area, lofted in, lobbed in, and it's easily covered by Omar Thompson. And now down the wing, he's trying to keep that ball inside and finally ends up going out of bounds. It'll be very tight. It'll be interesting to start seeing how both teams try to cancel each other out down the wings. Avery Estelle. He just holds back and starts looking in the middle. And Soares is the one that's going to anchor the middle. Playing as the 6 inside, trying to drop back and finding Diego Cruz. Not much of an option as you see, again, a swarming defense every time that ball goes down the middle. Diego Cruz losing it. Good counterattack opportunity, but deciding to hold it, possess it a little bit more here with Eddie Gomez. He switches down the right, brings it quickly right back down. Luis Hernandez, nobody there. We'll get our first. Currently, it ended up being a goal kick. We're just waiting to see where it ended landing or where it came out, and quickly played out of the back by Soren Russell. Estelle finding Medina. Trying to switch it through, but an errant ball that ends up being short on the cross. Smothering around, being more secure and more conservative, just maintaining possession. Further back it goes all the way. We're in the direction of Eric Ramirez. Against a man that stays always back there. Ethan Sampson waiting to see if he gets the ball, but it is delivered by Omar Thompson. Further back, an errant pass that ends up being a counterattack in the other direction. Coming inside and over the head of Gavin Rosales. Just watches it sail by. Already 3 minutes in, still no score here in Dallas. The referee saying to do it all over. Instead of going short this time around, Alejandro Rojas says, no, let me just boot it deep and see what ends up happening. It'll be Rojas crossing the middle of the pitch, but right there, Balboa defending, and it's just bouncing back and forth in the middle of the pitch. Finally won again by Foro. Good through ball, chasing and running around. Foul, nope. Play continues. Ball that ends up carrying off a defender. Recovered once again by Hernandez. Hernandez. Back out wide again. Now this has dropped back a little bit more. It's basically being that outlet down the wing, allowing a lot more to happen, or allowing more of an option. Just very stop and start, finding Ramirez. 2-3 touches, sending it through. Again, back out wide. Always very trustworthy to find Hernandez, as he's basically playing as a fullback, but that ball ends up being lost. The ball, it's chipped and through the goalpost to no avail. But again, having to maybe a little bit too much in terms of touches right now for Foro. It's easy for Balboa to be able to hunt them down and be able to close down and eventually steal the ball and create counterattacks such as that. Still bouncing around. Rosales just was able to knot it through, but finally going back to Rojas. He just blasted out and ended up being a throw-in coming up for Balboa FC. Already 7 minutes have gone by. Do that pivot, man. Trying to win it. Happened to be Antonio Garcia. Back protecting and resetting from the back. Good work there by Evan Lupo, sending it into space, trying to dump it inside. Rosales was waiting for it. Didn't have enough power and pace to be able to get to him. Getting the ball, it'll be launched in again. Let's see how much, a little bit better, but everyone that was around that ball happened to be wearing orange. This time ended up being short. Trying to protect it a bit more, but coming in, Rosales! Gets interfered with. It'll end up being a goal kick or a corner kick. Didn't see exactly. Yeah, there'll be a goal kick coming up here for Foro. Again, a promising ball, just creative in terms of knowing that somebody will end up being near that area. So might as well just send it in. It's the first big opportunity, or first opportunity period of this encounter. It comes at 8 minutes. Again, back out wide. Estelle's been one of the, at least in the early goings, has been one of the major transporters for Balboa going early. And, of course, the shirt tug getting called by the referee, and there being a free kick coming up here for Balboa. Back inside. Ansures under a bit of duress, forcing that ball through, but so far the defensive line, and immediately after I say that, it's finally won by Diego Cruz. Always a very persistent attacker, both trying to recover and going forward. Again down that right. Seeing if that ball can get knocked in. Still a lot of trouble being able to knock that ball out and trying to win it, trying to keep it in, but unable to do so. It'll be another goal kick coming up here for Foro. Ball bouncing a little bit complicated on this very hard surface here at Bishop Lynch. Already 10 minutes have gone by. A dispute again, finally favoring Balboa, who's tilted the pitch a bit more in their favor. Ball coming inside. Great shot. Just wasn't able to get off the bounce. It shot the goal. First one of the match. Foro with the consistent pressure. And it ends up being Antonio Garcia, giving them the advantage at 11 minutes. And you see that the trouble that ended up being initially with Garcia ends up favoring him in the end. Why? Because of the way the ball bounced. Ends up placing it perfectly for his left foot. And defensively, well, there's been a lot of trouble, and the adjustment wasn't there on the defensive end, making the angle perfect for him to score his first of the season. So initially a good lead starting out here for Balboa. Good way to get on top quickly on the road. So Antonio Garcia giving them the advantage to start things out. Foro will have a lot of work to do to get back into this one, and in the first yellow card of the match. As it's Diego by referee. Taking some time to be able to develop this play. See where it goes. It ends up being short. Well, referee says, no, I haven't. You're basically given the signal to say, to basically wait for him. And now it's Foro's turn to start pressuring, and pressuring they are doing. Good ball, it's sent through, but it does get knocked out. Was it offside? Yes, it was. So Balboa will get it back. Alejandro Rodilla, they're giving indications as to how to. Still a bit of a slow start for a Foro side that maybe everyone was expecting to push a little bit more, was expecting to pressure a little bit more. Hasn't been able to do so up to now. Soren Russell playing it out of the back. Anticipating Antonio Garcia, no one being able to retrieve that ball. Foro now on the pressure, bounces off of the face of Ansores. Quickly won by Almaguer, who's been moving around behind the defenders, basically playing that central defensive midfield position, playing it back out wide, but sweeping it out further happened to be Avery Estelle. Knocks it into space, recovered again by Foro. Now Foro's lines are advancing a little bit more, but there's always that propensity to lose that ball, and the switch ends up really putting them a bit out of balance. Marching forward, Balboa down the right-hand side. Pustillovsky. As it finally rolls out of bounds, it'll end up going back to the home side. 14 minutes in, and Balboa with a 1-0 lead up to now. Ball it's hung up in the air, nodded forward. Winning it back was Estelle, putting it back on the ground, and it's very hard to control it on this surface. Part of the reason why you do see Foro play the ball on the ground so much. They'll keep it on the ground as much as possible. Dancing down that line, good ball that's sent in, but anticipating well. Another bit of good work there by Avery Estelle, just knocking that ball away. So far, it's been interesting to see how the lines for this Balboa side have been able to contend. Part of what Foro looked to do is a more vertical attack, more trying to push through lines, trying to push and go forward as quickly as possible. Finally, is down the wing, waiting for some support, chipping it in. Attempt for a give and go. It looked like it went off a sleeve of a player, so really can't call it a handball, but that was initial sighting. One again in the middle. It's been really physical so far. And back out wide, running out of room. Finally, over down the wing was the goal scorer in this match, the only goal scorer in this match, Antonio Garcia. This time it'll be a corner kick, so it's the first of the match. See if that ball gets swung in, and only two for Balboa. Seeing how they end up defending this, I'm basically trying to drive it near post, and not to much avail. It's easily defended by Foro as they come out. Estelle just drives it forward, right into the hands of Alejandro Rojas. Ball goes back. It's found by Ethan Sampson. You see how they try to play it as quickly as possible, as vertical as possible. Ferry. Girls. A very staunch defending in terms with this side. A very staunch defense. Basically with that 4-3 standing, and even 4-4 at times when that ball's in that middle third. Won by Garcia, having to push it, twirl it, send it back all the way over to Soren Russell. Deep ball, one, but all just a bit offside there, Felipe Medina. Skillfully brought that down and skillfully just ends up deadening that ball. But unfortunately, he was maybe about a half a step off. Omar Thompson. Now it's Sampson. Battling. It's been a gritty match so far. Foro trying to answer back, looking to find the spaces, doing so on the right-hand side, trying to get past a very solid defense yet again being applied by Avery Estelle. Ends up being a goal kick. Russell, already 20 minutes into this first half. Good job again by Medina, but he's swarmed by two defenders. By Hernandez, who's had to play more down the middle in this latest stretch of play. Ball back out wide. Ramirez. Good marking. And that's been the key so far. We talked about it at the beginning of the broadcast. Ball that comes in. Beating out by half a step there. Ramirez. Medina was again swarming. It's been how one has been able to engage the other defensively. The key so far in this encounter. Alma steps, looks, just punts it forward. Good opportunity. Coming. And great defense, just clearing it away. Soren Russell closing the angle down, shutting, slamming that door on Luis Lara. And just playing that ball simply, didn't want to get too complicated on that ball. And he ends up just knocking it into the stand. Still, it'll be Foro with possession. They've been able to get a little bit deeper. Almaguer. Lara, who's been able to find some space down the right-hand side. Obviously, since Estel's pinching in a little bit more. Almaguer just wasn't able to get to it. But there was a bit of a touch, so it will be a corner kick coming up here for Foro SC. Ball swung in, cleared out. The idea was good. It was a pretty well populated area down that far post. Ball again, and it's been a very aggressive, been a very physical encounter at 22, almost halfway through this first half. Slowly bringing up Ramirez. Switching, it just seems a bit heavy the way that ball's moving, but still effective. Switching it down the left side. Not a lot of resistance has been given. Knocked away once again. This time it was Evan Lupo that comes in and loops in and knocks it away. As I said before, slowly but surely, Foro are finding more spaces and more ways to attack. Turning around, good work by Blaine Ferry. Just couldn't send that pass forward to the intended target, trying to battle for that ball in the middle of the pitch. And this time a foul is going to be called. It'll go back to Balboa. "24 minutes, still 1-0 for Balboa. Antonio Garcia, the difference maker up to now. Obviously, if you start looking on the bench, you'll see some interesting options. Well, it's just punted forward. There's some room to roam. Good aggressive play as Evan Lupo advancing out of his central defensive position. Maintaining that ball in that half of the pitch. Wanted to send that ball through. Sampson able to dart it right to the middle of the pitch, but ends up getting knocked away. So it ends up being a throw-in quickly. Well, should have been quickly played by Foro, but because there was a chance to be able to attack going forward quickly. We'll talk about benches in just a second, as we'll have a bit of a hydration break. So with that in mind, we can start anticipating a little bit more of what this second 20 minutes or so this should be about 2 minutes added on, as we'll look at the replay of the only goal of the match. Here the ball's bouncing in an uncomfortable manner. At the same time, initially it seems uncomfortable because there's very little to do. If he chests it, he ends up sending it to right at the defender. So he has to let the ball go through, and when he does, and the defender basically simultaneously ends up slipping, it favors him.
Oh, hey, what's up, bro?
As we reset, just saw the the replay of the only goal of the match. There haven't been many opportunities. It's been a match where there's been a lot of box-to-box, a lot of disputes in the middle of the pitch. Now, if you ask me, and this is only just one's analysis of how things have played out early on in this match, already 27 minutes in as we get ready to restart. So we'll go 2 more minutes, as of right now, 2 more minutes after we reach 45. Balboa have been able to defensively stand out wide a little bit better. Their defensive disposition has been higher. Their disposition has helped to prevent play from Foro to establish itself wide. So you see that those types of moments, those types of instances, or those types of options are really out of the table as of right now, unless they're entertained in how Foro can play more down the middle. But they've been very adamant about playing down the wing, and not only down the wing, it's from one end to the other, which the best opportunity that they had was playing from left to right, finding Luis Lara, but in the 1v1 against Soren Russell, it ended up being the goalkeeper that came out looking like an ace. Already 29 minutes in, still Balboa. Can't say comfortable, but they've been commanding so far in their performance. As yet another offside being called. That's a second of the match against Foro. As we get into the final 15 minutes of this first half, ball at one of the few mistakes by Soren Russell, but it's finally won by his team. But in the whole process of it, still just bounces around. In and imposing. Happened to be on Suarez. Ball blasted forward. Now let's see. How will that be looked at? It'll be a free kick, first and foremost. And there'll be a yellow card on Ethan Sampson. Could have been a bit more. Although the argument could be there for a dog, so I'll just say it based on how it's seen initially. So a yellow card and a shot from way outside. Well, that comes through. Great save there by Rios. By Rojas, excuse me, as he ends up finding it. So another big chance. Well hit, but also well positioned. Ryan Jones. Jones, who was playing further up, but Ramirez basically playing as a right back in all instances early on. Now he ends up becoming much more of an option. Jones, ball again.
Okay, it's okay.
Lara was leaning the other way. Back out wide again, Jones. Ramirez. He's trying to swing that ball inside. It's just way too much traffic. Having to go backwards significantly. All the way back it goes to Rojas. Slowly moving possession up. And this is what I'm talking about. Every time a wide player has it for Foro, they have to drive it back because there's nowhere to go. Either they send it down the middle, it goes backward, or they just directly send it back to one of their central defenders. Ball's being disputed there. Rosales loses the foot race, but still maintains possession and positioning to be able to pressure. And quickly another mistake by Foro, and it'll go out of bounds this time around. Already 34 minutes have gone by, still 1-0. Almaguer put that ball in a situation where his team just had to force it through, and force it through they did. Getting won by Ansores. Trying to keep it in motion. Garcia. And a great chance here. Lara can redeem himself. Lara makes it 1-1. That ball just comes through and he was able to pounce on it. Luis Lara, his third of the season. And this time, again, a great ball it's sent into the middle. Well, you see three defenders chasing, and all they had to do was chase because Lara already had where he was going to send that ball. He was locked in. Third of the season for Lara, 1-1 at 34. Foro being able to come through and getting a good break. Jones winning that ball. Lara pushing forward. Trying to battle through. Pustievsky being able to just wanted to send it back as Gavin Rosales was waiting. So 37 minutes in, a 1-1 draw here. And again, you start to see more from Foro as they go deep, and now they've been able to position themselves quite a bit. And offside, just coming back, happened to be Rosales. There's a bit of intensity. There's a bit more fight, not necessarily fight, but just understanding where they have to position themselves to be in a better situation. You see Foro right there being able to win that ball in, looking for Jones. Ryan trying to let that ball in. Lara bouncing in, coming through. Again, defended well, defended properly, cleared away by Evan Lupo. Finally dropping back, and of course it's a bit of a break for Balboa, because now Foro been able to increase the pressure at 39. Now they're more of the protagonists. See where they're now. The midfield is where the battle's being won. Jones opening himself. Ryan Jones has become more of an integral part of the attack, offering a lot of that amplitude that's necessary to keep the defense honest. See how the rotations are working out a little bit better. They end up finding ways to break through the defense, or at least the midfield portion of it. Having to go back, and this is the time where you have to restructure yourself, resettle if you're Balboa. But it's very difficult to do so if you're so far away from the ball and you're trying to constrict yourself even more so. And the opposition is able to pick apart your defense. Lara coming through and just missing that ball wide. Just hits it with the outside of its foot, drags it down the left post of the goal defended by Soren Russell. Gonna be a corner quickly. Well, wanted to do it quickly, but didn't have much. Trying to poke it through. Happened to be Evan Pustojovsky. Now it's, and what I said before, it's very difficult to try and reassert yourself when you don't have the ball. Now they have the ball. Interesting to see what they do with it. Avery Estelle leaving it wide, but didn't see that his teammate was offside. Antonio Garcia was now playing on the left. As we get into the final 2 minutes plus, there should be about 2 more minutes added as of right now, maybe 3. Trying to bounce it in. Lara wide open down the right. Took too much time to play it out. Finally, it'll be a foul. Just slowly getting up. See right there, Antonio Garcia. Evan Segura struggling to get to his feet, still hobbling a bit. But it'll still end up being Balboa ball in the last 2 minutes plus. One all in the first half, one all at 44. Ball it's sent into the attacking zone for Balboa. Getting back out wide. Antonio Garcia. Estelle. Good switch. Now the bounce being crucial. Felipe Medina. Medina had to drop back. He's been playing in 2 or 3 different positions himself so far in this first half. Ball it's served in. Looking for Rosales. One inside. Estelle comes in. Back on wide to Garcia. There's the bounce favoring him. And the ricochet favoring Foro as they look to counter in these last few minutes with Lara at the helm. He's able to keep it in bounds, waiting to see if he can go through. Has to turn back around, had the space, but Segura being able to stand tall. hurling forward, just knocking it forward, and just way too much on that ball. It'll end up being a goal kick as we're already into stoppage time. Should be about maybe another minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, as we'll analyze how things have gone so far. Divided ball, just looks slightly offside, Rosales, but it's comfortably played. Ryan Jones has a man out wide on the opposite end, as being Eric Ramirez. One more opportunity, or at least it seems like they might have one more opportunity if they play it. Lada's been able to control positioning. Ferry, and he gets fouled in a last-second free kick. Reaching in just a bit, but a chance from way outside. One of the last opportunities of the first half, as we shall wait and see how things play out. Almaguer. Ferry the other one. And a yellow card being issued again. This time it's on Gavin Rosales. It'll end up being Ferry. Is he going to deliver it in? Or is it going to be a shot from about 30 out? It's the former. Just ends up sending that in. There was a foul. It goes back to Balboa. And that'll be the last touch of the ball. Or at least the referee blew the whistle. We thought it was going to be the case, but Foro will get another chance. It's been a very good second portion of the second half for Foro. As for them, it ends up being that the goal kind of changed things for them because their disposition ended up being a little bit more progressive. It ended up being more proactive. They found more regarding spaces, and they became a bit more aggressive going after the match a bit more. And if they're even aggressive from now on, well, they might end up getting the prize, although that's still yet to be found out. Ball delivered in. Segura's play it out in that first half, as we've been able to play 45 minutes here in Dallas, and it's a 1-1 draw between Foro and Balboa. Two teams that have promised and kept said promises regarding their respective styles and what they've looked to do. The only thing they haven't been able to fulfill is being able to beat one or the other. We'll be right back with more. Don't go away. 1-1 at the half.
There are a lot of people in this area who would play sports if they had a great place to play.
Ahora sí que cualquier deporte que practiques es bueno. Mientras hagas ejercicio, hay que mantenerse bien.
People don't want to pay to go play on a piece of dirt. They want to play on something that they see on TV. To them, it feels like they're in a stadium. It feels like they're somewhere really cool, like really high end.
There's just really nothing around here like Foro. Parents love it, players love it. When they see the facility, it just adds that level of professionalism to, you know, the whole program, to our club. Being outdoors is crucial for us because we're training to play outdoors. And a lot of other clubs, too, have not been able to train, but we haven't skipped a beat. You know, having organized fields, the lines, the turf.
Being able to have multiple fields going.
La cancha, la superficie está excelente. No corres el riesgo de lesionarte.
The sand volleyball courts are great. They keep them up. They're really nice. They're soft. They have a built-in place for the players to shower off.
Puedes rentar una hora, puedes rentar 2 horas, quedas con los amigos.
Being so close to the heart of Addison, this is just a brilliant location.
El lugar está padre, hay árboles.
There's nothing else around here that offers an experience like that. Now that they have a place to play, they can actually come out and play.
Hello Dallas players, it's Brian Padilla here, manager and player coach at Foro Skills. I grew up in the Dallas area playing for the FC Dallas Academy and always dreamed of getting to the professional level. It didn't take me long to figure out that if I wanted to be at the top of my game and ahead of my competition, I had to put in the extra hours outside of team training. My goal here is to pass on the passion and drive to a new generation of players. Foro Skills is the perfect place to build confidence, improve skills, and inspire a lifelong love for the game.
Foro Skills!
We want to win, so you have to win for the first win. From the first touch in the warm-up, you have to win. Understand? So if you're flipping coins today, you have to win. You understand?
Don't never take my power, my power, my power. Don't never take my power, my power, my power. They feel away, oh wow. They feel away, oh wow. Don't never take my power, my power, my power. Don't never take my power, my power, my power. They feel away, oh wow. They feel away, oh wow. I was always in the lead. Who you wanna be? I'm who they wanna be. B-E-A-U-T-Y-E. Never seen so much rage from a queen. Rage from a queen. Queen so strong, thought she was a machine. Girl of your dreams, Sinclair regime. Turn to the max, can't forget vaccine. Refer to me as a goddess. I'm tired of being modest. 100 degrees the hottest. If we're being honest, ebony antibiotics. Black people win, they say we being demonic. Angel in disguise, I hate I have to disguise it. Why you gotta despise it? Rich in the mind is why I'm making deposits. Give me all the power, it's time to realize it. Don't never take my power, my power, my power. Don't never take my power, my power, my power. They feel away.
way too many chances.
Inside the box. Hey, hit it. I wanna see you shoot. I wanna see you shoot. Understand? You're always in good position to shoot. Understand? I am in try to dribble. Zach, cut inside, hit it. Hey, the goalie. You understand? Very good job, but when you have the ball on this side over here, you cannot be all the way to the other side, Papa. You need to tuck it in. So because they shift it, they pitch it in, you gotta come in with him. You understand? So when you start to circle in the ball, then you keep going. You understand? So don't be afraid to go forward. You understand? But a ball the opposite side, tuck it in after the midfield.
There are a lot of people in this area who would play sports if they had a great place to play.
Ahora sí que cualquier deporte que practiques es bueno. Mientras hagas ejercicio, hay que mantenerse bien.
People don't want to pay to go play on a piece of dirt. They want to play on something that they see on TV. To them, it feels like they're in a stadium. It feels like they're somewhere really cool, like really high end.
There's just really nothing around here like Foro. Parents love it, players love it. When they see the facility, it just adds that level of professionalism to, you know, the whole program, to our club.
It's a team that ended up being a little bit crisper with their touches, with their purpose. There's a corner kick coming up. As I will say, just to reiterate, it's a game of positioning, this one. It's a game of who's been able to impose themselves in a certain sector of the pitch. How that middle third ends up working out. Ball that's driven way wide. Foro being able to maintain possession. Shot again coming through. As it's seen wide by Soren Russell. What happened in that first half, and credit to both teams, but in the end, if you want to give the points, if you want to go to the cards, quote unquote, as they would say, it ends up being a very compelling story because it's he who controls the middle third, or if not is able to establish themselves on the other team's side. Well, that's the team that ends up really taking a foothold of the match. Speaking of foothold, that's what ended up being the establishment for Balboa in the first 20 plus minutes, maybe even 25, 30. But after the hydration break, we saw a bit of a change from Foro. They were more precise. They were crisper in their touches. You will probably remember that there were stages in the first half where Foro, it took them maybe 2, 3, sometimes even 4 or 5 touches to be able to handle the ball. Foul being committed as it ends up being a ball favoring Balboa as we're already 2 minutes in. After the hydration break, we saw a team with a more intent purpose, with more positioning, with a crisper set of passes, with less touches, more economical in that aspect of play. Ball being delivered in just out of the reach. As it'll end up being a goal kick coming up for Foro. Now playing it out of the back, errant pass. As Kaysenberg was able to steal that ball. Anticipated well. Now it's Eddie Gomez. Keeping it, watch out with the ball that's sent into the middle. It could be, but just a little bit too far. The run that was made inside. As it'll roll all the way back to Alejandro Rojas, will play it back out wide to his fullback, Eddie Ramirez. Omar Thompson. Forward it does go to Ethan Sampson. Ethan Sampson, who's playing basically as a left back at this stage. Controlled and trying to distribute a bit more with Nate Kopetsky. There's been a lot. I mean, Kopetsky's been one of those players that's been battling inside of the area, marking in the middle, as he's able to just poke that ball through. It's interesting to see Ethan Sampson basically at left back. Kopetsky dropping back and being one of the central defenders. That it does allow a bit more comfort and a bit more protection. As slipping in the middle is Jorge Maguer, who receives the ball. Switches it wide down the left. Brought back down quickly as a couple of touches barreling in and committing the foul. Happened to be Sampson. Be a free kick coming up and seeing if they can advance the ball a bit more. Bit of a risky pass back out wide. Jones has some room to rush it up a little bit more. Just lays it off, and not going to work when you have 4 defenders against 2 trying to attack. Slaloming through was Avery Estelle. Back wide. Bit of a change for Kaysenberg as he was more relegated in the first half, and now he's been able to move up. Speaking of moving up, one that does so is Ethan Sampson as he knocks that ball out of bounds. It'll be Berg, maybe pushing up a little bit more. He didn't have that much protagonism in the first half. Berg just chipping it, kind of dividing it, wanting to send it over to Rosales, who's been handcuffed a little bit more in the second half than he was in stages of the first. Waiting for that ball to finally get over to Kaysenberg. Now he's more in his position over it as a right back. Chested down, but immediately given back. As Blaine Ferry was able to recover that ball, trying to just push it forward any which way possible right now, Balboa. Roja. And the pressure is being established, playing it quickly, well composed, trying to get through. But Ramirez doing a good job, not once but twice. Now playing over to Ryan Jones, who wants to send it deep. Doesn't get to the intended target, but not only does it end up being a throw-in, it ends up being a throw-in about 15, 20 yards back, or forward, I should say. Slipping in, rolling right down the middle to Pustiovsky. Lobbed in, but Rojas being able to anticipate that ball well. Bowled out of the back, and Almaguer playing it quickly down the left-hand side. You remember what I was saying? When the team that ends up playing in positioning or having a better presence out wide from a defensive standpoint has been able to have the upper hand. It hasn't been consistent, but the one that does has. Stepping and being able to compose himself, Lara, trying to acquire a little bit more breathing room. That helps out a great deal to be able to create and be more elaborate on that play. Just getting away. As Estelle, they're covering. He's been solid so far and a bit more high risk, but it's worked out so far. It'll go over to Ryan Jones. The deep ball that no one was really able to get to, but defended relatively well. Almaguer camping out in the middle. Samson having a bit of trouble controlling it, sends it to Almaguer. You see more short, precise passes playing out of the back. And finally, it's been Foro that's been able to control. So far, a good sequence of play for them. Ramirez wasn't able to control, but at least the ball gets situated where Foro can maintain possession. Yeah, okay, maybe it hasn't been a great deal of depth, but they've been able to at least maintain the ball, possess the ball with Lara going through. Good give and go between him and Barnett and Bennett. One of the few balls that Kyle Bennett's been able to get cleanly. Dropping back, and now it's the chance for Balboa to be able to control proceedings. So after all that possession, really, forget the shot. They didn't even get into the final third, much less inside the box. Meanwhile, Balboa with possession, finally trying to send it through. They haven't been able to get out of their own half of the pitch. Finally won again by Foro. Almaguer. Slick pass into the middle. Lara trying to find the intended target, which was Kyle Bennett, and quickly played out by Soren Russell, who in turn looks to find Rosales. 1v1 battle, but good job of maintaining positioning and playing it out with a great deal of skill, trying to cross the middle of the pitch, doing so Foro. 58 minutes have gone by, still 1-1. With this result, Foro would end up leveling in points with Sporting NTX. Still time, still lots of time. Trying to dance through, but the second defender not allowing. Foro would end up going top of the table on goal differential provisionally, as I said before. Have to wait to see what Sporting NTX do. As Foro coming through, a chance to make it 2-1. Having to wait a bit more. Great ball. It's finally swiped away at the very last second.
Let's go, Felipe!
Another chance is now a bit more aggressive ball. It's knocked away. Soren Russell with a great effort. He was able to get a piece of that ball. In a very static defensive position. Watch out down the near side. Slowly sneaking in. But not much really going on. It was Ethan Sampson that was slowly moving up the pitch. Blaine Ferry was also slowly moving on by the left-hand side. It'll be a corner kick coming on for Foro, who are really applying a great deal of pressure as we get into the final 30 minutes of this match. Substitution coming on as well. Give you confirmation in just a second. Kevin Tierro's the one that came on. So you have more of a presence from a midfield standpoint. Of course, he's making his 11th appearance this year. Confirmation in just a second. 62 minutes have gone by now. Needing to add a little bit more presence, a little bit more when it comes to stronger in position, especially up top. You need a player with a different disposition compared to what you had with maybe Gavin Rosales, who's the player that he came on for, I should say. Diego Cruz, also an Alexis Medina coming on as well. Medina will stay a little bit further up, while Fiero's the one that will drop back and pressure a bit. He'll recover that ball, but there was a foul prior to that. Ferry ends up being short, and this is where the match turns around, and it all depends on the precision, as Tierro was moving, but that ball behind him, he had absolutely no chance to recover it. 63 minutes have gone by. Ball that's lobbed in, successfully trying to come in an aggressive manner. Medina, talk about Alexis Medina. Intercepted, but not fully recovered. Dropping back, good work again. It was Gabriel Ruiz, another player that came in recently. Ruiz. Berg. And with a bit more patience, if you have patience and also selectiveness and better decision making, as Medina trying to battle that for that ball back. Happened to be Nate Kopetsky that wins it. Of course, Kopetsky playing more as a fullback, allowing Sampson to push up as he is down this near side. Omar Thompson to his left, in with a line of three. That's what it permits. Well, it skips in. Not being able to play it too well. Happened to be Soren Russell, ends up being a corner kick. Ends up giving a corner kick. A crucial one, I may add, at 65. Ball sails in and just a touch away from making something special happen. Twirling it around, another chance to send that ball back into time. Same result, same final product. Although we see a photo with much more depth, we see a photo with much more intent, we see a photo looking to find that final touch, or at least looking and aiming and has the idea of who to send the ball to. Balboa haven't found or haven't shown that in this second half. Seven dropping back, 4 attacking, and the numbers obviously not facing Balboa at all, but Medina, who was in an offside position, recovered it, but as I mentioned before, Kopetsky. 67 minutes. Still 1-1. Another substitution getting ready to come on for the home side. Tiero just, as if he wasn't there, he was defending. He's dropped back significantly. Kopetsky, Ramirez, finally back out wide. Trying to drive that ball in, but there's dark-colored jerseys flying everywhere. Lupo. Soren Russell. And that's where you start to see more of who is controlling proceedings. Who's the one that wants to go for it more? Ruiz chips it into space. Tiero was supposed to run onto it, but once he saw it go over his head, it had a defender between him and the ball, and that wasn't going to work out too well for him. Play continuing, and time continuing to tick away. Protecting it and being able to just fend off a defender is happened to be Omar Thompson, as now he launches that ball deep. One again. Bennett sending it deep, and very tough mission to be able to recover that ball going down that sector. Happened to be Luis Lara. Soren Russell. 69 minutes have gone by. Stepping, having to twirl. Diego Cruz. Good give and go. But then that touch. Of course, when you start putting players like that in chase mode, Tiero goes right to him. Has to wait. Lays it off. Diego. As soon as that pass in the middle went, that's basically where everything fell apart. Not much that really can be elaborated upon. Kaysenberg wasn't able to get on there on time. Foro trying to play it out of the back as Tiero was coming back to defend and play back now down the right-hand side of the pitch. Bennett. All the way back it goes to Soren Russell. He just skies it out of bounds. Divided ball, but going across. Can he keep it in? Just not enough room, and the pace of the ball, especially after it bounced, well, not favorable. It'll be at the Good ball at Centeno, going just wide. Another effort, and that's where what I was talking before. Good ball at sent in. It's Lara missing. He missed in the first half going towards his right, missed now going towards his left. Corner kick coming up. It was a slight deflection. Let's see if they go short on this one. Ball's again coming through. This time the header right through the uprights, but not really affecting, as there will be a hydration break right now as we head into the 72nd minute of play. So it's been an interesting first 20 plus minutes where we've seen, or 25 minutes to be more specific, where the play of Foro has been much better. It's been more consistent, and it's a continuation of how the first half ended. So when one starts looking at that, yeah, Foro have had the better opportunities. They've basically, with the exception of one, I can't say all because I think Balboa had one semi-opportunity. You can call it that, a half chance, if you will. But the big chance is when you look at the highlight of this match, especially in the second half, up to the 72nd minute where we took the hydration break, you'd see that all the big opportunities have gone the way of the team in all orange today. At least in the second half, I should say, or to be more specific. So you see right there, of course, one of the better chances, and give a lot of credit to Soren Russell on that last one. He was able to get the touch on it to prevent that from going in, or at least the possibility of going in ended up lessening. As we await the resumption of the second half. Pleasure to be with you in these final 15 minutes plus whatever stoppage time will be added by the referee. Should be somewhere around maybe 4 or 5 at the end, because there have been some substitutions. There have been, of course, there was the hydration break, so we'll probably have about 4 as of right now. Obviously, there's still lots of play still to be disputed. And coming through. Balboa losing possession very quickly in the second half. That's also been a case, or that's also been a point that has to be mentioned. Foro with less personnel going forward. Numbers not favoring them, but still finding that one crevice. Maybe some urge. Diero. Deep ball and off to the races. Well, you would have thought off to the races they went, but it's Alejandro Rojas, excuse me, that ends up retrieving that ball. So substitution will be coming on soon. We're just waiting to see. A couple of players still warming up for Foro. It'll be Kaysenberg throwing in. And quickly does so. It's Evan Lupo. Berg again stepping and moving and trying to get through. Berg, who's been more, started at right back and eventually starts moving down the middle and wanted to be more of the, or getting involved in the whole creative process in that sector of the pitch. Ruiz trying to loop it in one more time. Diero. Bennett, all by himself, fighting against World, waiting for some support. Comes in the wrong side, trying to dribble through. Just never arrived. Ball that's deflected by Alexis Medina. Work Diego Cruz. Nice move there by him. He's here, of course, some of the fans supporting as we get into getting close to the final 10 minutes plus stoppage time. Trying to be a bit more intent. Foro now controlling and taking a little bit too much time, but trying to send it deep is racing. Bad, making it 2-1. Kyle Bennett with a sensational play. Just how calm and composed the entire play was, so much so that everyone on Balboa was frozen. And very masterful what was done there by Omar Thompson is he had enough time. He had no pressure on him. So he looks up, and instead of sending it right to the chest of Kyle Bennett, he decides to send it into space for him to run onto it. And just on the turn alone, he's able to beat his defender and had so much time to analyze the situation that Foro are able to rally back and take a 2-1 lead at 81. Great finish by Kyle Bennett. Very deserved because the work he's done, if you would look at the statistics, maybe it wouldn't be as impressive. But what he's been able to do in terms of presence, when it comes to keeping plays alive, that's one thing, and being an option in front of goal, that too. But he didn't have a lot of opportunities. As Tierro now wide on the left, it'll end up going out of bounds. It'll be a corner kick coming up here for Balboa, which is a very crucial one, I may add, at 83 now. Some of the big boys beginning to file into the area, at least for Balboa. See 4-5 in the area. Berg just outside. Ball that comes in, knocked away. It's a substitution coming on, 84 minutes. "85 minutes. And now it's Balboa trying to be the protagonist. They're the ones that are trying to see where they can advance to. Ball is delivered in. No one wearing black getting back to it. Ruiz. And bring the shot out, flying in at the last minute with Ramirez. It'll be a corner kick. It looked like it was going to be 2-2, but Ramirez saving the day. Time beginning to run out. Final 5. Tierro just wasn't able to head it properly. Trying to keep it inside of the area. Now finally punted out. Preventing another player that's been rather solid. Happening Avery Estelle, and play being stopped just to make sure. Didn't see exactly who it was that ended up getting hit in the head with that, but looks like everything's okay. It'll 85-36 and counting. Now Balboa being more intent on trying to get that equalizer before the end of the match. And at this point, well, obviously if Balboa with the, Foro with the draw, we're going to go top of the table. Obviously now with the 3 points, they consolidate themselves provisionally. Kind of an oxymoron to say that, but obviously they would no longer end up being top of the table on goal differential anymore. Soren Russell. Jones just knocks it forward as the lights come on here at Bishop Lynch. And it does allow for this to happen. Not much going on, and especially with the numbers, well, despite the numbers, Foro have been able to come through and truly cause some damage or make Balboa's defense think twice. Protecting it, here is Omar Thompson. Man that ends up getting the assist on what is, as of right now, the game-winning goal. Ball booted deep once more. But just sent anywhere. Coming through, fighting in, foul being called. Final 90 seconds, and a yellow card will be issued.
That's the second one.
And waiting to see what ends up happening. Yep. Big play coming up. It's taken quite a few minutes. The ball's knocked away. Time beginning to, and as time trickles on, will it be Tierro looking to go on target? And not only that, the referee continues to talk to others and ends up being over 2 minutes. Tierro chips it in. Back out wide, trying to cross it in. Let's see what ends up happening. Recovered quickly by Foro, and the counterattack is on. Tierro. And just trying to hoof it forward. Foul from the back. Referee says yes, and another free kick coming up. Kind of giving those, maybe you give them in the borderline right area, but there was no need to be able to give that foul away as we're already in stoppage time. Another foul committed. And another counter that stopped. And another foul. Of course, that's the second yellow card. So now the rest of the match, as Eric Gomez, who was booked earlier, he'll be sent off. Now it will be interesting to see how Foro end up resetting or reshuffling themselves defensively. As at first I said 4, we're probably going to 6 or 7 at this point. Crucial moment now. 92-47. It'll be Soren Russell looking to deliver that ball inside the area. Although there is an option to see if they can drive, you can push out and see if a short ball can be an option, but I doubt that can end up being anything of productivity. We shall see. The referee continues to dialogue. Now we can probably have 8 minutes of stoppage time. And he'll go, of course, to the bench. With a card in hand. We're going to give someone, I didn't see exactly who, talking to Alejandro Rodilla, and he ends up getting the card. Still waiting, and already 3 minutes. Saying, oh, the reason is because Gomez went to the bench instead of leaving. Let's see now. Play will resume, keeping it short, but in the opposite direction. Trying to get through defenders. Tierro sees it go through him and sliding across. It'll end up being a throw-in again for Balboa. Continuing down that, persisting down that left, it'll be a corner. And you hear from the stands, look for the penalty, and someone's getting sent off on the bench. It's Alejandro Rodilla that ends up getting sent off. The second sending off for Foro.
Come on, Red!
Still a lot of talking, still a lot of dialogue. Now, finally, we'll be able to do this. Still don't know how much time. We'll probably go to 99 now. Keeping it short, cleared away. There was no one there for Balboa. So having to retrieve it and secure it. looking to see if they can send it deep once more, trying to pin that ball back. Was it an offside? Headed back into the middle, and finally being able to defend once again. It happened to be Eric Ramirez. And now the counter in the opposite direction, looking to kill off the match. Here is Foro over. Goes through the uprights again, but ends up not being what needed to be done. But it does end up killing some time as we get to 90 plus 7. There's still time. I don't know. They haven't given how much time was going to be added. Ball sent in. Header dropped down. Not much going on there. Sebastian Marañón, who also recently came on. The ball doesn't come cleanly to him. Now it's Foro who try and see, of course, keeping in mind that they are a man down. Just trying to knock that ball as far away from their own goal as possible. One again. And a foul being called. And as of right now, those fouls in that sector end up being just fine because they take time. They also are far away from goal. It helps them reshuffle defensively. But it ends up being Soren Russell. In back out wide. Cleared away this time by Omar Thompson, who's also had a solid game defensively for Foro. As Alejandro Rojas watches it steer wide, that should be one of the last opportunities of the match. And it will be. As Luis Lara, after, of course, the goal from Antonio Garcia to open things up in the first half, it was Luis Lara that started things off, equalizing, and then finally, in the second half, Kyle Bennett being able to slot that ball, as you'll see right here. It was a first half where, well, not much was going on, although the pressure and the play was favoring Balboa. Ball that comes in and enough of a movement there. That helps Antonio Garcia shed his defender, and that ball coming through the near post, making it 1-0. Then this ball that ends up finding Luis Lara, who had missed an opportunity prior to that. This time, cold and calculated, he slots it through his third of the season. And just like that, it was 1-1. But in the second half, great ball by Omar Thompson, finding Kyle Bennett. He had beaten the defense. Clean finish, slotting that ball through, giving Foro at home a big win as they go top of the table in their division. So with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, it's been one of these topsy-turvy type of matches. One of those that the team that ended up having the most impetus going forward ends up getting the prize. And deservedly, the arguments have all favored Foro SC. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we bid you adieu. It's been a great pleasure to be with you. And until next time,